Moving on to Group D, the reigning champs, France. They're back with a completely different midfield. Kante, Matuidi, Pogba, who were so good last World Cup. All three of them not in this team. Very difficult to go on and repeat. But France, since 1998, two World Cup wins and 3 finals. This team is loaded with Benzema back in the team. Missed out last World Cup. He'll have something to absolutely prove for the 4th ranked team in the world. Australia, 38th ranked team. They had 11 straight wins of World Cup qualifying. Then they came crashing back down to earth and just managedly edged it to get into the World Cup, courtesy the Intercontinental Playoff, 5-4 win in penalties over Peru. Denmark, another side with dark horse written all over it. They beat France home and away in the Nations League. Now they get France in Group D. And Tunisia, 30th ranked team in the world, beat Mali on a weird own goal to go on to qualify. Didn't concede in 7 games straight. A very good defensive side for it being absolutely lit up. 5-1 loss to Brazil in a friendly a few months ago. France minus 205. Denmark to win the group at plus 220. Is that number tempting here? It seems like it's a 2-horse race in this group, Simon. What do you make of France and Denmark? I mean, do you really give Australia or Tunisia a shot in this group?
Australia, I would think not. I don't fancy Australia. Tunisia, I mean, they've had some decent results recently. That they're not a bad side. I think they could potentially pull a couple of upsets in this group. But yeah, I think Denmark and France are favourites. I think France, it would probably require a bit of an implosion, which the French historically have been capable of. So we'll have to see on that front. Yeah, Denmark I think is a good side. It's a good balanced midfield. They've got some pace out wide. I think they kind of lack a little bit a real out and out top number 9, but I think it's a solid side. So I think Denmark will be steady in this group. France are potentially have incredible highs, but if it all goes wrong, then it could go quite wrong. So if France failed to get out of this group, it would definitely be the story of the group stage. I struggle to see it, but I definitely think there could potentially be some drama at some point for France, which is potentially, the big story in itself. But yeah, I think Denmark are a good side. I think Tunisia are actually decent. I don't really fancy Australia. And obviously I think France, if they fail to qualify, it will be all of their own fault, I would suggest.
Jake, do you think Denmark can go on and win this group? I mean, they were in the same group for 2018 as well. These are two familiar sides with one another.
Yeah, I absolutely think that they can win the group. Yeah, like Simon said, France have got the ability to just get in their own way and make things more awkward than they should be. We saw in the last international break, Mbappe refusing to do photo shoots because of a brand and all that kind of stuff. There's definitely an undercurrent that things could go wrong at any moment. And I think keeping harmony is probably the biggest job of that Didier Deschamps got. Yeah, I like Denmark. I really do. I think the group is, in my opinion, it's going to come down to that head-to-head game. And I personally have that down as a draw. I think the two teams will draw. I think it's match day 2, which means that, ultimately depends on how heavily you beat the other two teams. And as Simon said, France have a really big, really high ceiling. But how often do we see them hit that ceiling and get close to it? Whereas Denmark are a team that are incredibly consistent and have been for years now. So I said that they probably have a lower ceiling, but also a lower floor than France. In which case, I do think Denmark are worth a bet to top this group because, like I said, it's going to come down to the games against Australia and Tunisia, in my opinion. And yeah, that's a bet for me. And also, I think in the head-to-head, you can get Denmark plus 0.5 on the handicap at minus 119. That'll do for me. I don't think they'll lose the game against France. The recent head-to-head record in the Nations League was really good. They obviously topped that group and beat them twice. I do think that Denmark could be a really dangerous team at this World Cup.
Sign me up for that as well, Jake. Both those plays. Andrew, do you want to make it a trio backing Denmark here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd only be repeating what the other guys have said, but yeah, I think they've got a real good chance of topping this group. I mean, if you like omens, obviously the defending champions have gone out in the group stage in the last 3 World Cups. It seems to be a thing that happens, and I'm not sure that's going to happen to France, but then nobody would have thought that in the last 3 either. So, perhaps there's something in that. The other thing I spotted, France and Denmark have played in 6 group stages over the years of the World Cup and Euros, and one of them has gone on to win the tournament 5 times. So, wow. If you like an omen, every time France have won the World Cup or Euros and Denmark winning Euro 92, they played each other in the group stage. So maybe get on Denmark to go all the way. The only other one I'd add really at this point, I think Australia are under 1.5 points at plus 114.
Yes.
We've mentioned Tunisia. They only conceded 2 goals in 8 qualifying games. So I don't think there's any guarantee that Australia will beat them. And you would expect them to lose to France and Denmark. So to get a plus bet on them at under 1.5 points looks pretty decent to me.
Yeah, I'll say this, Group D, there's a lot of intrigue here because whoever wins this group, the draw can open up nicely for them. So there's a carrot being dangled here for France and Denmark. Go on and win this group, then who knows how far you may be able to go in this tournament. Denmark lost to Croatian penalties last World Cup. England in the Euro semifinal. Perhaps this is their time.